This is the part where I think when it comes to learning about Versailles, it's often not taught, and I feel like it definitely should be because everything that glitters is not fucking gold. Okay, so we all know what Versailles is, right? That big ass hunting lodge turned basically Victoria's Secret fashion show runway IRL. Can you imagine what it would be like to live there? Because I've heard so many different stories about what it was like to live in Versailles, and every time I hear it, it's just like, what do you mean I can't just prance around the Hall of Mirrors in my 25-inch dress and 36-inch bust down? I gotta perform for y'all niggas? Like, what are we doing that for? But I want to break down what it would actually be like to live there because yes, I've seen all the shows and all of the movies that take place or reference Versailles as this some wonderful place where you just go around drinking and dancing, but it's like no, living there actually would have been fucking terrible. So the main construction of the palace, because it's a giant palace and there was stuff added on, taken off, redecorated, reconstructed through like many different reigns of French kings, but everything was officially done in 1710. The person that was ruling over France right now at this point is King Louis the 14th, the sun god. Nigga thought he was Apollo. So essentially the question that I feel like none of the people like want to ask or like even try to understand, which is no fault of theirs because like why would you ever think about this for real, like on a really deep level? Why would you ever think about this like at the blue? The reasoning behind why exactly Versailles was built, because obviously, yes, you can easily say, okay, Louis had a hunting lodge out there. He wanted to transform it into like something more than a hunting lodge, a living quarter for him and his homeboys, which wouldn't even be a wrong answer. But the thing about it is, it's not just that, you know? Like if I could, I would definitely build like a little compound for me and all my homeboys and all my homegirls to hang out on the weekends. Absolutely. But to just have fun, you know? He built Versailles because he wanted to watch the nobles compete for attention, favor, popularity, specifically from him, but also from each other. What kind of messy ass shit is this? But also, like, over encompassing that is just like he wanted all the nobles around him so he knew. It's like, yeah, I see you every day. I know you every day. I know you're not gonna do anything creepy or weird because you're not gonna rebel against me. I see you every day. Now, okay, to put it quite plainly, Versailles is cute. Like, you know, Versailles PR is real cute. But for real, and we're gonna get into this. For real, it's prison for nobles. Which is so, like, prison, like, but, like, listen, like, I am willing to bet that there were nobles who did, like, a routine where they could always be around the king. But I do feel like it gets to a point. Everything gets to a point. So let's get into what exactly life was like if you were just an average noble. Welcome to Versailles. Bougie's bitch ass place on the fucking earth. So just know that if you ever got the opportunity to live in Versailles or even visit Versailles, you had the money. You had the money. You were up there with the rest of them. You were highly motherfucking revered, okay? And, you know, a lot of people thought that this was not only a really good thing to, like, you know, be invited to or to be put on that pedestal, but it's just like, at this time period, the men especially, but also some of the women, if they could be as close to the king, like I'm talking right up under his left ass cheek, if they could, they're gonna do it. And if you were invited to Versailles, that's exactly what you were. You were right under his booty cheek. But here's the other side of it. These niggas got all this money to turn a hunting lodge into what Versailles is. I went to see Versailles like 3 years ago. It's crazy. But you know what's even crazier? All of that space, all of that glitz and that glamour, and there still wasn't enough rooms in there for everyone to have their own bed. How the fuck that work? You had niggas on the resident life waiting list at Versailles. What do you mean, bro? Rooms were so limited in this fucking space, bro. People were literally sleeping in the hallways, like laying down on the hallways, laying down on the floor, on the little couch cushions, on the little love seats, waiting for someone to die or move, or just, you know, oh, I think I'm sick, and here come the king physician. Pestilence, get the fuck out. And they would just take that room. Why aren't there enough rooms in this fucking palace? It's called a Palace of Versailles, nigga. Lily. Like, it may sound like really, really cool, you know what I mean? Like, maybe like the more richer you are or the more noble you are, you get first come, like first pick or some shit like that on rooms. But at the end of the day, we are still in Paris. Well, no, we're not. So here's where it gets bonkers, all right? So remember, you're like a noble here. Let's just say you got your room. Me personally, I'd be sprinting down the hallway to get my room. I'm not sleeping outside on the floor. I'm so sorry. I'm not doing that. So you wake up ass crack of dawn. You know why? Because you have to wake up, get yourself ready, okay? Go to the king's room, go to King Louis the 14th's room, and just stand there, watching him sleep until he wakes up. So Ray, I would think I was in The Strangers. What? Huh? This man wanted everyone's schedule who lived at Versailles to be revolved around him. I understand. You consider yourself a sun king or a sun god, but like I said, nigga wanna be Apollo so damn bad. So I understand you being this self-centered and this narcissistic when it comes to all of your bullshit throughout the day. Every single morning you have to do this, right? And every single morning you gotta elbow niggas and fist fight niggas and kick niggas, and you might be like, well, what am I doing that for, cat? Well, you have to do that because you have to be the one of honor to bestow the king with his clothes. Nobles would genuinely be fighting, like belt to ass fighting for the chance to give him his little linen shirt. Just fucking, hey, your majesty, and I dig a boom, boom, like, is this baddies? Like, what are we doing? And it was like, it's not even like you can sit back and watch this and be like, that's crazy. Like, who would want that? They all want that. It's a high honor. Only a select few. You have to be selected. I guess you, like, I don't know, give him his socks in a way that he likes it. Like, I don't fucking know. You can get appointed to hand him the royal underwear, the royal jock strap. Like, I don't even this is so ridiculous, bro. This is how you get social clout. like and it's not even like in a ridiculous, like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, you could genuinely go up in the social ladder in France if you hand this nigga his drawers. Like, but if you do it wrong, like if perhaps you give him like I don't know what, I don't know, a pair of pants, right? You give him a pair of pants and you put it in his hand, but like he wasn't there to grab it yet and it falls to the floor, bitch, you might get stabbed. Shit don't make no sense. Shit don't make no kind of sense. Because what? I've been impaled. Like, can you imagine waking up to like 40 people just standing in front of you? Talking about some, here you go, here's your bra, here's your panties, here's your shirt, here's your bottoms. I would probably throw up from the overstimulation because this is too much. This is too, I've barely dealt with the crust boogers in my eyes and that's already irritated me. No, I got 40 motherfuckers in my face? No. No. And you know what? This is why I feel so bad for Marie Antoinette. Y'all know about her? Let me tell you about her. Marie Antoinette. We mostly, well, if you don't know who this lady is, I don't know what to say about you, bro. For the most part, we all know who Marie Antoinette is. Now, you don't gotta know too much about us for this part right here, but it's okay. She had to give birth to a live studio audience like this was SNL. And when I say that's probably one of the most traumatizing things I think I've ever had to hear and imagine experiencing, because what do you mean I'm busting it wide open and I can see folks looking in trying to be like, oh, I saw his head first.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
But it's not only that, she almost died, right? And not from like the usual things that you would die from in terms of childbirth at this point. No, you got 17, 50, 11 days in this motherfucking place. She's trying to give birth. What should you do if you're giving birth naturally at all times? Breathe. Well, how can you breathe adequately if you have all these fucking people in the room with you? You can't. The bitch almost asphyxiated. Like, what's going on? But it's not only that she can't breathe. She can't breathe because there's too many people in there. What also happens to a room when there's too many fucking people in there? It's hot. You sweating. You in pain. You can't breathe. You got niggas climbing on furniture and chairs trying to see your reaction and the baby come. Like, once again, I'd throw up from the overstimulation. I could never, my brain can't even process. But let's get back to your day-to-day, because that shit is crazy. Oh, and then of course you would have to attend that. Even if you didn't want to, even if you were like, I don't want to stare at her vagina, you have to go. Or like you get kicked out or like killed. I don't fucking like you. So yes, the king's morning routine of waking up to 40 niggas out the ass ready to serve him. Excuse me. And then fighting each other to give him articles of clothing, and if you do it well enough, consistently enough, you can hand him his drawers, which was apparently a big honor. I hope there weren't any skid marks. That was every single day. You had to wake up and go witness this, wake up and go do this. I can't imagine, bro, spending all that time on your perfect little French makeup, get your wig nice and proper, all for some random motherfucker to snatch it off because you grabbed the left sock and he grabbed the right one. Oh my god. Let's talk about dinner time, alright? Food is important, even if these are the only niggas that actually have food in the entire fucking country. Listen, so dinner was called the Grand Couvert? C-O-U-V-E-R-T? But he loved to eat with an audience. You know what it was? You know what I think about this dude? I think that he would absolutely love maladaptive daydreaming. But not only that, I think he'd be one of those people that would like talk to himself like in a mirror or like sitting at a desk and act like he was on like Jimmy Kimmel or some shit like that. Like I feel like he would be one of those kind of people. No shade to those kind of people, bitch. Same. I feel like he would be doing that shit. When they had dinner, not every noble person that was required to be here had a place to sit. If you had a place to sit, you were of the utmost importance when it came down to the king. And even then, when it came down to actually eating the motherfucking food, everyone was watching the king and the queen like this was a fucking mukbang YouTube video. Like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. You know how confused I would be if I sat down and I started to eat my food and everybody looking to the left and I'm like, I'm looking to the left. And it was just to watch the king and the queen take the first 3 bites, then we can eat. I'd be like, take me home. You know what makes this the absolute worst though? And this is like definitely reason number 1 of how I know I would definitely be kicked out of Versailles at one point or another. When the king finished his food, right? And he rose from the table, put his napkin down, put his silverware down, this, that, and the third. That meant that everyone was done eating. Y'all know those people, right? Those people who eat food like they're never gonna have food ever again in their lives. It's like you give them a burrito, like a big Chipotle burrito, and they eat that bitch in like 4 bites. It's just like, did you even taste anything? What the hell? What's wrong with you? For example, me. I don't eat very fast. I eat slow, but I'm gonna eat. I just don't eat very fast. So imagine this man is one of them take 3 bites, a swig of wine, and I'm good to go. And he ain't even got halfway done. It's not like you can take the food to your room, because guess what? The rats are gonna be like, oh my god, Uber Eats. You couldn't keep eating. You couldn't even stay around to finish eating. You couldn't be like, oh, 1 more bite. No. Because then you're gonna get called fat. But you know what makes it even worse? If you weren't sitting, because it's not like, you know, they had like food for everybody and then the seating was just for certain people. No, if you weren't seated, you weren't eating. If you were on the walls, in the back, behind the table, you were just there to be a mannequin. Mannequin challenge. 1700 edition. Like, what? Why would you want to go here? And this next part is how I definitely know I would not be safe here. This is the part where I think when it comes to learning about Versailles, it's often not taught, and I feel like it definitely should be, because everything that glitters is not fucking gold. There were little to no bathrooms in Versailles for the first couple decades of it being complete and folks living in there, meaning folks were relieving themselves in the hallways, in the staircases, by the curtains, then wiping their ass with the curtains, anywhere besides an actual toilet. And you know what? I'm willing to bet that the only toilets, it was probably like 2 or 3 of them bitches, and they were all in the king's room. I'm willing to bet all in the king's room or the queen's room. Cause what you be? I turned the corner and it's some nigga taking a shit on the curtains. I thought this was Versailles. Oh, I would not want to be here, bro. I would not want to be here. And bro, the servants, the poor servants who would have to come by and clean this shit up, they would just put out the window under the rose bushes. Like, what are you talking about, bro? And then of course you can't have one bad hygiene notion without the fucking other. You know what's fucking bonkers? These back then, they were just like, I'm not gonna bathe often. You're not? These folks believed that bathing opened the pores and allowed for illnesses to just like seep in. And like, maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. But you know what? I'd rather have my pores be open and the disease be crawling into my skin like venom than walking around smelling like swamp ass. Literally, the doctors of this time would literally say, don't fully dunk yourself in water. That's not good for you. So they just thought that their natural body, and then as long as their clothes were clean and some perfume, just doused on that ass, they were good. It's like, okay, God, I wonder what ooh, bitch, I wonder what that palace smelled like when all the periods were synced up. Ooh, bitch. So remember what I said earlier when the reasoning behind why the king actually went ahead and built Versailles because he just wanted to see these folks fawn over his attention and just being messy because French niggas are messy historically. No shade, but it's like historically y'all niggas are fucking messy, bro. You hear a whisper of someone being like, I think I want to fight England. Y'all could be dead broke and you will get your shit together and go and fight England. Ain't even gotta be involved. Y'all are fucking messy, but it's fine. So because everything and every day was basically a competition to show off how opulent you were and how much class and money you had and how much you could benefit or persuade the king or be favored by the king. That was every single fucking day. Whenever anyone entered any kind of room or went any kind of somewhere, there was always, which me personally, I can't take. I can't take that. That's a little bit too much for me. That would drive me up a motherfucking wall. Cause what you say, Al? Everybody was spying on everyone else. Everybody was talking about everyone else. If you came in this bitch and thought that you had friends, you're a stupid hoe. Because no one is friends here. Family ain't even friends here. Like, what the fuck? Do you know what kind of fights you may or may not get into while doing your, I guess, mid-morning debut after fist fighting someone over that nigga's drawers? You could get into a fight over who walked in the room first, who got to sit or stand or just be closest to the queen, like in proximity wise, who got invited to the after parties. Like, folks would be fighting over this shit. Who would give the king a napkin? There's just so much glazing going on. When I think about stuff from the past and when I watch shows with stuff in the past, like the show Versailles and the show The Tudors talk about this, the amount of glazing that these people and these nobles do to kings. Like, when I was younger, I would watch that stuff and be like, okay, well, is this not what they're supposed to do? Like, why are they so bothered? This is what you're literally supposed to do. This is what you expect. If you don't get it, you're gonna be mad. But then when you think about it, like, yes, this is something of your own design. You could just say, y'all don't have to do all that all the time, and they'll stop doing it, but you don't want to stop doing that because you want to feel important. But then at the same time, you want to have this importance of people being in your ear. You're talking about some, oh, I love you, I love her. How do you want your steak cut? All of a sudden, you're like, I want something authentic. And then you get something authentic, and then you don't like it anymore because you don't like authenticity. You don't like being told what to do, what's wrong, what's good, what's like. I don't even. Oh my God, my throat's starting to hurt. Aside from that, though, it was really something with the women because in any culture, I feel like you can look as powerful and as rich as you want when you're a man, but that only can go so many routes historically. These women were having wider dresses, out to fuck you here, talking about some, I'm slim thick. I'm like, no, you look like Squidward. I ate all them damn Krabby Patties in that vault. Then they had little teensy tiny waist. Could they breathe? Who cares? Skinny queen. Then you had their titties, all the top titty pushed up. They did this shit in once again in the Tudors. When Anne Boleyn, girl, they had all that the top titty was like up to here, bro. It was crazy. What was the first thing a person would see when you walk into a room as a woman at this point? Now, you could say a dress, and you technically would not be wrong, but during this time period of the 1700s, they were wearing wigs. It wasn't about who could have the most colorful wig with the most cute little patterns and intricate little triggers inside. Nah. What's your wig vertical? And I'm not even kidding, bro. They would go wig for wig. Bro. How are you 5'5" on your own, but with the wig, you're 6'5"? I don't even know what's going on right now. The wig started to get so big that the hoes could not fit through doors. And you know what? That was expected. If you weren't doing that, you were an outcast. You were called broke. You were broke. You can't afford a tall wig. Must they have no money? Why are you even at Versailles? You have no money. Whole time they're fucking. Bro, what's that movie that did this shit? I think it was Shark Boy and Lava Girl, where they had the little boy. I don't know what his name was. He was like the villain. He was so annoying. They made his head big as shit. He just turned over. Like, whole time, that's them. But you know what's so crazy? It's not like it was unnatural for people to go broke while living at Versailles. Because while living at Versailles and competing with everybody, you couldn't be an outfit repeater. No, bro, no. You're definitely getting called broke then. You always had to have new shoes, new jewelry, new dresses, new coattails, new socks, new wigs, all of it at all times. That sounds fucking exhausting. People legitimately bankrupted their houses, like noble generational houses went fucking bankrupt trying to upkeep the presentation of being as glamorous as Louis the 14th. But it's like, how can you reasonably expect to keep up with the king of fucking France in terms of finances? Yes, there were some wars going on, but this man was so focused on this, you think he was putting all the money possible into his fucking military and the wars? No, I'm gonna tell you that right now. No, the fuck he was not. He wanted a new wig. And it's just like, being here is so crazy because it makes me think like, you can't even buy food. What you buying new wigs for? Like, what? So nightlife at Versailles, I think, would be the only reason why I would pull up, because it sounds like absolute fun. You had balls, you had operas, you had fireworks and shit like that. Lots of gambling, obviously plays, obviously performers, scandals. Girl, tea always happening. Why? Because everybody drunk. Everybody drunk. Everybody drunk. So you know something's gonna go down. That'll be the talk of the palace tomorrow. People would be up until like 3, 4 in the morning, bro. Then they gotta take all that makeup off, take off the 16 layers of clothes, take that shit off, get in the bed, and then wake up again at like 6, 7 to get ready. Ooh. To get ready to go and hand the king his fucking shirt. Fight over a nigga for his panties. And this was every day. Every day. Like, take me home. Deadass, take me home. Literally everyone in that bitch was functioning off like maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep, vibes, no bathing, and perfume. So yes, Versailles was absolutely a grandeur place, a beautiful place. I will always recommend going to go and see it and taking a tour of it. I definitely want to go back again. Holy shit, it was so cool to go there. But to actually live there, I don't know if I'd be able to handle nobody bathing and wiping their ass on some curtains. Curtains! It just sounds like if, like, I don't even know, like Jersey Shore, not even Jersey Shore, but I'm gonna say Acapulco Shore. Yeah. Acapulco Shore was put in like dorms or something. Like, that's what it sounds like. And that sounds like a personal hell. Absolutely not. So yes, that was Versailles. Beautiful, chaotic, smelled like ass. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go bathe. Something that rich niggas are really scared of, apparently. Thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know why I thought about this, but I just living there was not fucking fun. Like, I don't care what any kind of show tries to portray, living there was not fucking fun, bro. Everybody smelled like doodle water. Niggas are wiping their ass with the curtains in the hallway. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.